And thank you for that reminder. And here she is. Hello, Nicole. Welcome.
Hi.
So good to see you.
You too. How are you?
Great. This has been a phenomenal day. I'm so excited to round out the day with your beautiful story and the beautiful healing adventure that you have been on. And let me tell everybody about you. Uh,
A
just a little bit, just a
little
little.
bit.
Yeah. So, Nicole Marx is the founder of the Owl's Nest, a sacred healing space born from her own profound journey through chronic pain, spiritual awakening, and self discovery. Once ruled by migraines and emotional heaviness, Nicole is now living a life of intuitive flow and freedom, following divine guidance and inspiring others to listen deeply, surrender fully, and trust their own inner wisdom. She continues to walk this unfolding path with an open heart, ever grateful to hold space for others on their own journey home. Mm, mm. And as I said before the break, Nicole will be sharing her story from pain to purpose, a journey of surrender, healing, and divine guidance. So, where do we even begin? Because I know it's gonna be a challenge to bring the story into 30 minutes. But I would love to hear whatever pieces of your story you'd like to share and how you've used that personal journey to help others today. Mm.
It's a long story, so I will try and keep it a little shorter. But yeah, I struggled with pain my entire life. I was the only teenager I knew that had a standing prescription for heavy duty pain medicine because of the amount of uh, migraines and pain that I had going on in my body. So, you go through life and you just learn to cope with it, and that's just what it is. You just tucker on. And in 2022, I had an experience at work that a really traumatic experience that sent my body into a tailspin. And I had already been dealing with a lot of other health issues and spent a ton of money trying to figure out what was going on with my body. And eventually figured out that not only did I have fibromyalgia, but I also had Epstein-Barr and complications from the COVID vaccine. So there was a whole host of things that was happening in my body, and was struggling pretty intensely. And I had gotten to the point where I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't tolerate it anymore. I threw my hands up and I begged the universe, whoever was listening, God, whatever was there, just to please help me. I needed a reboot. I just couldn't live like that anymore. And, the answer came in form of a retreat. I was guided to this beautiful Mongolian yurt up in Mount Shasta. And at this time, I knew nothing about Mount Shasta, so I had no idea what was in store for me. But I was terrified of the long drive up there because driving was one of my biggest pain triggers. And so I decided that I was going to split the trip up in half and visit a friend of mine who had some property, recently bought some property a few hours north of Los Angeles. And so I set off on this trip to go, camp out at his place, in the mountains out in the middle of nowhere, halfway through. And on the way up, GPS dropped out, cell service dropped out, and I ended up on dirt road. And no sooner than I was on this dirt road, everything in my body started screaming at me. And I just felt this, urge like, don't go on this road, don't go on this road, don't go on this road. And, I'm looking at the GPS that was still remembering where I was supposed to go and knowing that I had no cell service. So if I had to reroute myself, I wasn't going to be able to figure out where I was going to have to go. I couldn't call my friend, no cell service. So ultimately, I decided not to listen to that voice and I went on the road. Well, long story short, the road was not passable. I ended up going down into a really, really deep ravine and was now off-roading in a two-wheel drive vehicle that was not meant to be anywhere but on the streets. And I was just praying. I was terrified I was going to get stuck in this canyon. There was not a house, not a soul in sight, and so I knew that if I was out there, that there was not going to be any help I could find. And so I just kept giving it everything I had to get through this road, and eventually the road bottomed out into a deep ravine, and it was a giant sand pit. I could not drive any farther. And so I had to figure out how to turn around and now go back up a very steep hill of what I had just done downhill. And in a two-wheel drive vehicle, if anybody's driven a two-wheel drive vehicle on a steep uphill climb with a dirt and on dirt road, you just know that there's just no traction whatsoever. And so, uh, tried as I might, failed, failed and failed, and I eventually made the decision to put my car in emergency brake, grab my backpack, grab some snacks and some water, and hike out of this canyon and pray that I could find help because the way I saw it, I was never going to get my car out of this canyon. And I'd be lucky if I found anybody out in this super, super remote, hilly, mountainous area. So I start hiking out of this canyon, and about halfway up, I have to stop and catch my breath. And I decided it's a good time to start recording a video of myself so that in case anybody finds my dead body out in these hills, they'll know what happened to me. And so I did. I took a moment to catch my breath and I admired the scenery that I was in and started recording this video, trying to sound as sane as I could, as terrified as I was. And in the middle of recording this video, trying to maintain my composure, I heard a voice very clearly as if it was somebody standing right next to me. And it was a voice that said, "It's going to be okay.
Mm.
It's going to be okay." And I could see a smile, like the weirdest thing. I mean, there's nobody there, but I can hear this voice and I see a smile, and they're telling me, whoever this is, it's going to be okay. And in this middle, in the middle of this video, I know there's one point where you could actually see I cracked because now I think I'm losing my mind. I'm so stressed out about this trip and where I'm at and how I'm going to die out here in the middle of nowhere. And now I'm hearing a voice that's definitely not here. And I don't know what to do. I wrote it off as me being insane and just, ended my video and went back on my merry way to hike out of this canyon. And I eventually do. I get out of the canyon and I get back to the main road. And mind you, there's nothing out here. There's no houses. There's nothing for as long as I could see. It was just gorgeous mountains. And as soon as I got back to the main road, I turned and there was a fire station about 200 yards up the road. And I went running to it. Um, I got to it and they had actually seen me coming. Apparently there's videos or something. I don't know. They saw me coming. I didn't even get my hand up to the door to knock on it and a face, the door opened and a face came out behind it with these big, huge eyes, very confused where this strange woman just came from out in the middle of nowhere. And, it was a fire station. Firemen are ready for anything. They heard what had happened to me and they had no clue where my car was because they were all volunteers from outside of this area because, like I said, nobody lived out there. So they loaded up this huge rescue rig and drove me out to the road that I got lost on or stuck on, and it made them park at the top of the hill because I was so terrified that they would get stuck as well. So here we are sitting at the top of the hill, and they all took one look at how far down this ravine my car was, and they were a little shocked by how good of a job I had done of getting stuck down this cavern. So, long story short, they tried driving my car out. They couldn't get it out, but they were able to take this huge rescue rig that they had loaded up with all their gear, three axles. I don't even know how many tires, but they backed it down the hill. One fireman got in my car, tried driving it out, while the other one wrapped a tow strap around it, and they pulled my car out of this ravine. And I was standing there at the top of the hill and just watching this happen after being completely convinced that I was never going to get my car out of this ravine and that I might very well die out there. Watching this happen and just saying, Thank you. Thank you, God, for getting me out of this. Like this could have been really bad. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I heard the voice again. The voice very clearly said, "We've been talking to you. You haven't been listening. So here we are." And here I am standing at the top of this mountain by myself. And I said, "I promise I will listen no matter what, no matter whatever happens ever again. If I hear you, I promise I will listen."
Oh.
So here I am in this moment, having this crazy conversation with somebody that's not there, promising that I would forever listen to this voice. And, it didn't dawn on me in that moment, but what I've come to realize since was that that was a reconnection to spirit that I had been begging for a very long time. Having gone through all the pain that I had gone through, I locked myself up in my house, in my bedroom, and I live in a very naturous area and never even went outside, never got to breathe fresh air because I was in so much pain I didn't want to move. So in that moment, I got my reconnection, and it was just surreal and amazing. I don't think I really even believed it at that point. But long story, I end up making it up to my retreat the next day up in Mount Shasta. And at this point, after the traumatic experience I had had the night before, my body was in full flare-up mode. I was in so much pain. And a little about me with the pain that I was in, I was a self-medicator. 24 hours a day, I was on pot, CBD, herbal muscle relaxers, pain pills, tinctures, muscle rubs, pain patches, heating pads, you name it. I had it. I had an entire suitcase packed with everything that I needed in my daily life just to keep my body somewhat functional.
Wow.
So when I showed up to Shasta and I got to this yurt, which was incredible, my plan was to go and take the hottest shower I could muster and just go load up. Just everything I had brought with me, I was going to take the full gamut and just knock myself out and pray that by the next morning I would be functional again so that I could get something out of this retreat while I was up there.
Mm.
So I did. I went and took the hot shower. And when I got back into the yurt, I have such a hard time explaining what actually happened because I really don't have the words or even know what happened. But somehow, rather than going to my bag of tricks, I found myself lying on the floor.
Mhm.
Essentially, for the next 4 hours, I lied there on the floor in what I now know in as the Shavasana pose in yoga, basically back down, hands up,
Mhm.
for the next 4 hours, just
Wow.
laying there, breathing into my body. It was like I was in this trance, but didn't know I was in it. It was just like this automatic thing that somehow my body knew what to do, but I didn't even know what I was doing. I still don't know how to explain it to this day, but I essentially spent the next 4 hours breathing into my body.
Mm.
Um, at the end of it, it was nighttime. I got up, I went to bed, I woke up the next morning, and I was fine. And so much happened that week. I'd worked with a lot of healers while I was up there, but I was so convinced that I was going to lose whatever had happened to me that when I came back home, I started looking for healers of my own to continue my healing journey so that I didn't lose whatever it was that I had experienced up there. And
Mm.
in doing so, I was introduced to two particular healers here. One of them, my first session with her, she put me into a meditative state, which I warned her, I don't meditate. I've never been able to get my brain to calm down. So good luck with me. It's not going to happen. And she puts me in this meditative state. And no sooner that I'm in it, not only am I seeing colors, like the most amazing purple I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't even explain it. I actually said it out loud. I'm in a meditative state. I said it out loud. I see purple. And right after that, all of a sudden, I started seeing images, full images, and it became rapid fire. It dawned on me that as I would register what these images were, that image would go away and another image would come. And I was just being shown image after image after image. And there were two that apparently I wasn't guessing what they were. I didn't register what they were because they kept showing it to me.
Mm.
And I left the session basically convinced I was never going to know what these images were because I didn't figure it out. And, maybe one day I will, maybe one day I won't. But left with just an amazing feeling that, wow, okay, something magical just happened. Well, 2 weeks later, I ended up going to one of the other healers that I was recommended to, which was biofield tuning and not a meditative state, just laying on a table and he's pointing his tuning forks at me and I'm sitting there talking. And it wasn't a voice, but it was like a lightning bolt. This just thought just shot into my head and it said, yurt. You're supposed to build a yurt.
Oh,
And in that moment, what registered with me, the two images that I had seen in that meditation 2 weeks prior, one was a circular, it looked like a magnifying glass just going over the dirt. Well, now in this moment, I know it's the dome. It's the dome
oh,
opening to the top of the yurt. And what the other image was looked like sun rays. Like if you're ever in a boat out in the middle of the ocean and you look down into the water and it looks like sun rays coming up at you. That's what I thought it was. Well, it turns out no, it's the rafters. It's the rafters coming down from the dome at the top of the yurt. So in this moment, I was like, oh, it's a yurt. I'm supposed to build a yurt. I don't know how to build a yurt. Okay, I said I would listen. I'm supposed to build a yurt. Well, the funny part about the situation is I'm actually having this conversation out loud in front of this practitioner that's working on me doing biofield tuning. And I look over and he's got this puzzled look on his face, like this woman's cracked her mind. She's having a conversation with somebody who's not even here. So of course I had to explain to him that, what has now just happened and that I've just been divinely told that I have to build this yurt that I know nothing about. And his response was, well, I know nothing about building yurts either, but I do this thing called project tuning. It seems to help my other clients that have things that they're trying to develop or complete. Might as well give it a shot. And I said, of course. Well, hey, I got nowhere else to start, so let's do it. I ended up going back to him a few weeks later, and he did this project tuning session on me, and pure magic came out of that session. By the end of the session, I had a full roadmap on how to create a sacred healing space
wow.
in a yurt. And, here I'm sitting, I was like, okay, I've got no money. I've got no idea how to actually build the yurt itself. I've got to do some research. So I kind of set a goal for myself 2 years from that date to get together the money and figure out how I was going to do it, where I was going to do it,
Hmm.
and go from there. Well, the universe has other plans. And the moment you start putting that out there, that this is what you're going to do, the amount of magic and synchronicities that just I'm going to say came flying at me. It was unreal, the daily things that would happen, that just things would fall into place and people would come out of the woodworks that would be like, I can build this for you. I can do it for free. I'm going to give you money for the yurt. I'm going to do that. And it's like
Oh,
I couldn't I the amount of things that happened, I had no words for it. I was completely blindsided, caught off guard, and just dumbfounded by the magic that was unfolding around me. And to make it super short, the project tuning session was June 30th of 2023.
okay.
My 2 year mark would have put it in 2025. By May 23rd of 2024, the yurt was standing.
Wow.
So today is May 25th. 2 days ago, we just had our 1 year birth date
Oh,
anniversary. But
congratulations.
it's just been magic along the entire way. And one of the most magical things that came out of it, obviously, other than the space and it being something that I could never have imagined I started, because I still don't believe I did it. But one of the things that's come out of it, when I started on this journey, I was looking for all the healers for myself to continue my healing journey.
Mhm.
And what ended up happening was I found a community that I've been sharing with other people, and it's just grown and grown and grown. And it's been so magical to see the people that show up out of nowhere, just magically come to the space and feel drawn to it and want to work out of it, and people that want to get healed in it. And it's been the most rewarding, unbelievable thing I've ever experienced. I spent the last 27 years working in a career that pretty much ran me into the ground.
Mm.
And the funny part about it is that career dissipated at the same time this space
Oh, interesting.
was magically being created. And I held on to my career for the longest time, fighting through it. And the biggest lesson I can say I learned out of it was the universe has plans for you, and you may not know what they are, but the more you fight against it, the harder life is. And the moment you let go, surrender, and let things happen, magic falls into place. And it's been such a lesson to keep listening to those voices, keep listening to those messages and seeing it. But I finally let go of that idea that I needed that career to support me and to keep me, you know, alive. And I still have no idea how this is going to happen or what's going to happen, but I've been in such a blissful state of surrender and just acceptance and not knowing what's to come, but being ready for whatever's put in front of me that I'm here today talking to you guys because 2 years ago you would not have been able to get me to speak in front of a group of my friends, much less on a digital summit. So to be here, to have been asked to be here was something that, even a couple months ago and Mike asked me, I would have been like, yeah, no, I would have done everything I could to get out of speaking to anybody. But, I've completely surrendered. And, you know, one of the speakers earlier was talking about how, when you get uncomfortable and something comes up in front of you, just what happens when you look into it and you say, okay, let's figure out what this is. Let's try it. And it's been such a beautiful process. So definitely surrendering and just allowing things to happen. I wouldn't be where I am now, pain-free, living a life where I have not touched any drugs, any pot, CBD, pain patches, or anything like that in the 2 years that it's been since my awakening. So
Wow.
it's given me a completely new leash on life. And to live as somebody or to have been somebody who was completely a control freak. There's a lot of people that know me from my past
Mhm.
lives here that know how I controlled every bit of everything around me and complete surrender. It's just bliss.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
That's the super short version.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so powerful. I feel like you you embodied so many of the things that other speakers talked about today. You embodied that, the listening, the honoring that inner voice, honoring the the guidance, following it instead of ignoring it, and the beauty that's come into your life because of it, and the healing that's come into your life because of it. That is just miraculous healing that you experienced. And I am so happy for you to have that healing and to be able to experience pain-free living. Um, and I'm just completely blown away that that happened for you. Just wow. Wow, wow, wow. I got to get out of that part of the brain to ask you questions now. But I am curious. So you've created this, you've built this yurt, and it's would you call it a healing center? What kind of things happen there now?
It's a healing space, it's a really beautiful space that people can come experience some of our own events and healing modalities that we offer, but it's also a space for people to come and work out of and share with their own clients and their own community. But like I had mentioned before, it's really become a community space. It's been really beautiful to watch people come and have different experiences. I've been told that there's some really magical energy there. Portals have been, claimed that we've opened them, and just some of the most amazing things that I could have ever imagined. But we do weekly programs like meditation and yoga and programs that are meant to help create, not create, but repair physical pain and ailments in your body. But we do sound baths, and last night we had a session with a light language practitioner where we got some really amazing healing in there, tarot, um, all kinds of amazing things. I mean, you name it, we have pretty much everything, and if we don't have it yet, it's coming. But it's been so much fun, and just honestly, it's just been a absolute blessing and dream come true to see what continues to grow day by day out of this space. So we're right here. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Los Angeles area, but we are in the Santa Monica Mountains, just above LA, in a neighborhood called Malibu Lake. So we're between the valley and Malibu, right there in the mountains, right on a lake. And it's just, I've told people many times before, you would never believe you're in LA out here. It's just all greenery, all trees, lakes, nature, and it's
Wow.
magic as far as I'm concerned.
Wow. It sounds like it. It sounds like it. And what your free gift to everyone is an invitation to take a tour. Yeah.
Yes, I would love to have people out. It's a space that, we can show pictures all day long and tell
Mhm.
you about what we do, but until you come and you experience it yourself, I think you don't really truly understand what it can bring you. And I think it's different for everybody. So, I can listen to somebody's story and tell them, oh, this is what you're going to get out of our space. And then they come and it's an entirely different experience, but they always get something out of it. So to be able to open our doors and allow people to come and not just experience the space, but, maybe get a hike in out in the hills right here and just be submerged in nature for an afternoon, morning, evening, whatever they choose. But yeah, the invitation is open to come on out, see the space, and
Love,
meet some of our practitioners.
I love that. I love that. So the link, your your yurt you call Owl's Nest, right?
Yes.
And the link to your website is in the chat. Might put that in the chat. Any other links or socials that you want to share where people can find you?
Yeah, we're on Instagram, Facebook. We're pretty much all over now, but the Instagram is Owl's Nest Malibu, owls underscore nest underscore Malibu. And Malibu is not the Malibu everybody knows is Malibu. It's actually Malibiou. Malibu. Did I spell that correctly?
Know you.
Malibou.
Yeah.
So I think it's posted there, so you'll see the spelling. But yeah, so we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and then we have a mailing list, so you can go to the website and there's an edition where you can click and add your name to the mailing list and get our updates straight to your inbox every week. But we invite anybody out to come experience it. We do a lot of free events, we do a lot of paid events, but part of what I do is just being able to make it accessible to everyone. I don't like pricing anybody out, so it's always about being inclusive and allowing people to come in and get the healing they need,
I love
however that happens.
that. What a gift. What a gift. What a gift to receive, and a gift that you're passing it forward by creating this space for others to heal as well. And I can't wait to come down there myself.
Please, I would love to have you come down.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much, Nicole, for sharing your story. And I know this was the very abridged version, and you're such a beautiful storyteller. There's some love here from Becky. Love to you. Thank you for
Thank you,
being
Becky.
here and for closing out our amazing summit. I'm so stoked we get to share your story here today.
Thank you. Thank you for listening, everybody.
Great. Wow. We've done it. Wow, we're right on the money. It is exactly 4:30 p.m. PT. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you to the amazing speakers sharing your stories, sharing your beautiful healing work in the world. I I for one, I'm incredibly inspired. I'm full of hope and love so much how the through line was all about love, right? There's so much love here. There's so much love around us that these stories are showing that we're surrounded by love. We're surrounded by helpers. And so thank you for showing up to receive that love. Thank you for showing up for yourself. If you have any final questions for the speakers, please place them in the chat. And let's see. I would really love to share this brief little poem with you because my thought here is where do we go from here? And if you have some big takeaways, I'd love to hear your takeaways in the chat as well. And so what's next, right? You've got a lot of inspiration. You got a lot of maybe ahas, new ideas, new perspectives today. A beautiful unfolding of this love and compassion flowing throughout all of the speakers' presentations. And so I want to share just a brief poem. It's by Rumi. You've probably heard of him. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the doorsill where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. And so I share that poem as a reminder. Don't go backwards. Don't go back to who you were this morning before you tuned in. Try some of these techniques out. Try some of these experts, maybe signing up to work with them. Try some of these new reframes, these new perspectives. This is all here for you to, this is like a big buffet for you to take what called to you, take what seems exciting to you, take what you're curious about and try something new, right? We don't get change unless we try something new. So I want to thank you for showing up for us, for showing up for yourselves, for your own healing journey. And if you missed any of these incredible speakers and or you just want to listen to them all again, we do have an option to purchase lifetime access. It's just $27. It's $2.70 a speaker. As a bonus, this is my second gift. Anybody that purchases lifetime access, you'll also get lifetime access to my summit I did last year, which was Leaders of the New Aeon, the harmonic resonance of stepping into your soul's calling. Dr. Rosie was a part of that. Graham was a part of that. There's 25 interviews, activations, meditations, guided embodiment practices in that. You get all of that by signing up for the replays for the Revive to Thrive Summit. Um, Mike, would you like to share anything in closing? And that link's in the chat, by the way, if you would like to purchase. And we'll send an email as well so you can have the link. No expiration on the link. Um, Mike,
Well, I thank everybody for coming tonight to the Revive to Thrive Transformational Healing Summit, and I was really impressed with the whole entire summit. I have no idea how I was able to organize this, but I thank you all for being here. I thank you all for coming. I thank the experts especially, and I definitely thank you, Ruby, because you did a fantastic job. I mean, she's been an incredible host today, hasn't she?
thank
You've
you.
been incredible, Ruby. I thank you so much. And that's pretty much all I have for tonight. Thank you all. I appreciate everybody that's been here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for having the vision. Your vision and your passion for making this happen is was the catalyst, and it's just so beautiful how it all unfolded and everybody that came together to bring the summit to life. So thank you for the vision and the invitation to be a part of it.
And the tenacity to keep going.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Okay, everybody, let's take a deep breath in together. And And now as you inhale, if you can, rise, lift the arms up, gather all this beautiful healing energy, this transformational energy. We'll bring it home into our hearts. This is yours to receive. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Peace to you, love to you, blessings to you. Have a beautiful rest of your weekend and Memorial Day experience. We hope this was a beautiful way for you to experience this long weekend. Thank you for joining us, for tuning in, and until next time. Bye.
Blessings, guys.
Thank you. Mwah.
Yeah,
Thank you
take care.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Everybody can unmute themselves and say goodbye.
Oh, yeah, I'll put it on gallery. Yeah,
Thank you guys so much for this. This was beautiful all day.
thank
Yeah,
you.
it really was. Really was.
Thank
All right. Rest well, you two. You
you.
worked hard.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Bye for now.